So I'm always up for a bargain, and if you're a photographer, you have probably come across this brand called Retropia. They are everywhere online, and if you haven't, Retropia is a brand that specialises in a disposable lens, which gives you this kind of vintage style look. And well, recently, or last weekend, I had a photo shoot come up which required that vintage style look. So I decided this is a perfect way to fully use this lens and try it out properly for the first time. And well, let me tell you, it did not disappoint. Let's get into it. So here is the lens in all its glory. It's ASMR, made out of plastic. It's the tiniest lens I ever did see. And here it is on my Canon R50. It's tiny. You wouldn't even think you have a lens on your camera. It is so light and portable, which is amazing for traveling to shoots, or if you're just traveling and you love that vintage style look, it's perfect. It adds no weight, it's as light as a feather, and you wouldn't feel it in your bag, which is always a plus when you're traveling as a photographer or videographer. The more weight you can save on your back, the better it is for you. But I loved it. It's so light and portable, and I paired it up with my Nissan i40 flash, and for me, this flash in particular gives that kind of vintage style look. And the reason I put it on the Canon R50 over my Canon R6 Mark II is because, well, the R50 is obviously not as sharp as the R6. And I wanted it to not be as sharp, I wanted it to be a bit blurry. And because this is a little bit shitter, I decided this would be why I would put it on the R50. Now, don't get me wrong, having sharp images is incredible. And I did do that with the R6 with my 24 to 105mm lens, but the Retropia lens on the Canon R50 with the Nissan i40 is like a match made in heaven. It was the perfect combination, and as you'll see by the results, I think they came across very strong. Now, the one thing I will say, this is also to do with the camera, I had to do a lot of work in the edit in post to just bring out the vibrancy of the photos and the colours, but the overall aesthetic and look of this Retropia lens with the Canon R50, I kind of went blank there for a second, was a match made in heaven, and I loved it. But this paired with the Nissan i40 flash, which is also quite cheap. I bought this a year or so, if not more, ago, and I have actually not used it since then, and it's a great little flash. Especially, it's cheap. I can't remember how much I bought it for, but it was cheap enough anyway, and it was within my budget at the time, which was cheap and cheerful. And it's a great little lens, and it's so portable, and it works well with the Canon R50 once you use your mount as well to attach it. But yeah, the Retropia lens, I'm waffling, I apologise. The Retropia lens on the Canon R50 paired with this, for me, was a match made in heaven for this shoot. And as you'll see in the next clip by the results, you'll see why. So here is the result of the artist that I shot with, one of the artists of the day, Lorenzo. And as you can see, he's just sat here on the corner of the table with an orange juice. So we had it real breakfast themed, as you'll see in other photos. So there's food everywhere, like pancakes. It was like that American style retro diner, but we had to fit it in a very modern restaurant. So it was tricky even with regards to lighting. I brought one big softbox in to just throw as much natural light into the corner of the space as I could, and then I had the Nissan flash then on top of the Canon R50. But as you can see here, I thought it has really produced a stunning retro style shot. Now, I did add a bit of grain into it as well in post, and obviously up the saturation on his clothes and stuff like that, but I think the overall aesthetic and look is really cool and really gives off that vintage style look with the flash and the Retropia lens, or the famous Oreo lens as they call it. Yeah, I thought the results speak for themselves, and on the Canon R50 in particular, I think it really came through for this look. And as you can tell here with Lorenzo, the shot is absolutely stunning, and it really encapsulates that retro style look. Here's another shot with Alex, who is one of the other artists in the song that they are collaborating on. You can really see that retro style diner look, especially with the milkshakes and all the colours within the pancakes and the backdrop. I think it's really cool. I think the flash gave it that extra bit of vintage look. I know I feel like I'm kind of repeating myself on the video here, but I think the results for me came out better than expected, especially with it being on the R50. I kind of felt maybe I made a mistake by doing that, but sticking to my guts and trusting myself as a photographer on a shoot was important for me overall anyway. But as you can see from just like even the depth of field within the photo and the colours and the slight vibrancy, I think it works really well. So here is a photo of two of the artists. Lorenzo is sipping a coffee, and then you've got Alex who has a milkshake, and then you have the pancakes on her lap. And I think this is a really cool, interesting shot. It gives off that kind of diner style look in our environment, which was not a difficult environment to get that because it was a restaurant, but we made it work with that light, and that flash as well on top of it really elevated the whole image as a whole. And then because it's not as clear and it's not as sharp, I think that adds to the character and the kind of depth of the photo and the emotion of the photo as well. Even though it's a cover for a song, it still gives it that little cinematic feel and cinematic touch to it. So overall, I couldn't be happier with the Retropia lens. I think the results turned out quite alright. So the question you're probably asking, is the lens worth it? In my opinion, absolutely. Now I'm currently on the Retropia website and they have this lens for €42, but I do know for a fact when you first click on the website you can get like 10 to 30% off, and they are always doing discounts so you can get it much cheaper, because I know I got it cheaper than €42, so I know you can too. So make sure you go over to retropia.com and you can check out the lens for yourself, or wherever in the world you are, what the price is. But overall, I would say, if we're going to go out of 10, 7 out of 10. I don't think it's a 10 out of 10. I think 7 out of 10 is actually a good rating for this lens. It's good, it holds up, it does the job. For that price bracket, I think it does exactly what it says on the tin. It's nothing groundbreaking, it's nothing incredibly sharp, it doesn't give you the best quality, but for 40 quid, I think it does an amazing job, and it's a real budget friendly disposable lens that you can take anywhere with you. It's light, it's portable, does what it says on the tin. So yeah, I would give it a 7 out of 10. Thank you so much for watching this video. If you haven't already, please subscribe to the channel. We're trying to get to 1,000 subscribers by the end of the year, and you're helping me build my dream. I will see you next week, next Thursday, for another video.